Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Comics de la Muerte, episode 44, Viva Las Vegas. I'm your co-host, Crimson Isle Comics, Ronnie Gunter, my co-host, Frogbreaker Studios, Jason Alexander.
I'm the co-host, Ronnie. You keep your job. I'm the co-host.
Yeah. But, of course, before we're going to talk about the book, Jason, what do you got to promote?
Well, minicomicbundles.com. Bundle 8 is coming. Right now, we're still on Bundle 7, but go get it because it's still available. They are limited edition. Let me show you what's coming. Let me get the screen share up here real quick. So these are the current books right here. We got Fright Rider. When Evan seizes the opportunity to go on adventures with an intelligent vehicle, he soon learns that because he's behind the wheel, it doesn't mean that he's in control. Really fun sci-fi book, guys. Like, I don't know. I love these little books. Like, they're so good. And they don't feel like little... They just feel like real comics. I really think you guys will enjoy them. This is a 3-parter. This is the beginning of it. The Liaison, UFO, X-Files, big mystery mayhem, guys. Like, it also accompanies one of the webcomics that are coming soon called The Briefing. It's got legs. I'll say it that way. It's a pretty sweet story. Gilead City is a sci-fi cult. I guess I would call it cyberpunk world. Eternal life under a domed city, but you got to play by the rules if you want to live forever. So really tense bundle, really good bundle. If you haven't looked through the books, guys, we got 3 whole books on the site. All these are fully readable. They're from different months in the series. This is from Hourglass. We got Green Roses, which is a one-off in my first bundle that I wrote, and you got a really unique, like, I think that Aaron's artwork made this story a lot deeper than maybe I wrote it. It just looked so good completed, the drive-in. You guys check them all out. minicomicbundles.com. You can sign up for the year, get access to webcomics, get access to some pro stories that I wrote. You get a little glimpse at what might be coming down the pipe. minicomicbundles.com. Also, check out my Instagram, Fallbreaker Studios. I put up part 1 of a little short story I'm doing just to kind of give folks a feel as to what I want Ransom Notes to be like. So check me out, Fallbreaker Studios, Instagram, minicomicbundles.com. That's where I'm writing. Always look at my Instagram because things are changing every day. My goal becomes clear, and I learned that I have a new level to reach, and that I'm already on. So
and with Ransom Notes, are you just gonna focus on that and then release it at the end, or what you gonna plan to do?
I haven't decided that yet. I guess I'm just kind of wanting to see, because it's written. So I guess what I'm wanting to see now is, like, I got to lay out a couple of the pages. I kind of want to see what it looks like, and then I'm gonna decide how I deliver it from there. But I'm leaning more towards physical than digital, or physical completed. Like, it'll be drawn digitally, but I'm thinking of doing, like, I feel like it needs to be a physical book. So I'll always post previews. I'll always post short stories that I'm working on, because those just kind of have to come out when they do. But as far as Ransom Notes goes, it's going to be I don't know how it's going to be delivered, but it's going to be a physical book or a series of books. So stay tuned for information on that, because I'm buckling down some things that need to be buckled down on. What's up, Gary? How's it going, man? Hope you're having a good night.
Yeah. And of course, for me, anyone, if you have not read my story yet, go read episode 2 of A Vengeful Heart. I mean, I just getting so many good comments and people saying so many great stuff. And, Also, not just Tapas with my book. Again, thank you for everyone who made this channel to where it is now. I mean, me and Jason, we did this about a year ago, and people always tell me that me and Jason's chemistry is really great. And literally within a year before doing this, I was only at 32 subscribers, and now I'm only one away from 100 subscribers.
Oh man, congratulations. That's awesome,
so that's like 37. It doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it's a lot. 37 people in 1 year, just because I decided to do a weekly show with one of my best friends here. So yeah,
man, like this has been a good time. It's been a really good time. So we'll keep it going. I'll try to keep it interesting for y'all. Like we appreciate it. Like I know we get a lot. I know, like, we have some mainstays, like Gary's always here. Frank Salazar is always around. Like, your brother's always around. So it's always appreciated, like, that we have our live viewers. And it's always appreciated that people go back and watch the show again. Because, like, we really do this with nobody watching. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's fun. It's fun either way. So... I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah, next week, guys, we're going to be bringing on Joshua Kimball, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to talk.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it's his book, 3 Stories, is on Instagram now, and it's so cheap. I got it for free. I got it for like less than $4, and it's so much.
I bought it at full price back then. But it was worth it.
It's so much book, and it's such a good, unique size. And the artwork is good, and I love that it's not dedicated to any one like formula for comics, because I see a lot. Definitely the story is very different, because this is very personal. Like this is personal. Like my story is an experience, but like this is a very personal story, and it's told so well. You can just tell that this is something that he talked about with people, and I'm sure somebody has said, you got to make this, you got to write this down, because it's such a fantastic book. So no, go out and get that. Ronnie, put the link back up for yours again too, because you got to get some subscribers. Like we got to get the people that are here subscribed to your Tapas, because you are bringing those books pretty furiously. So
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to bring out an episode every month.
Well, it shows, and your work does not look rushed. So keep it up, man. Like,
I appreciate
that. Get that. Also, before we start, Dinosaurs versus Mars Bots. Did you sell your one? I wonder if Gary sold his one yet. There was one left.
Did you sell it, Gary?
Did you get it? Did you get your last one?
Maybe no response yet.
All right. So look, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's one of each book left. So go to Gary's Etsy page and see if you can be the last one to get it. I got mine. I know Ronnie's got his. Gary let us review this book, and oh, come on.
Oh, what?
Okay. Now I know what I'm talking about. There's one left, guys. Somebody. I feel like we need to have a Gary-thon. Like, we need to have a Gary-thon. I need to get a bank of phones behind
people
me.
Buy the book. There's a golden ticket in there.
Yeah. Just get the damn book.
And the golden ticket will take you to Area 51 where Gary will be. No.
This book is jamming, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying it because Gary is a homie. Like, this is a book that I would have picked up at the comic shop and 100% not regretted. But that's all. I don't. Yeah. You guys make awesome stories, so I'm trying to keep up, and I think I'll have something that is of quality. Look, he's already waiting for you. He's waiting now.
Yeah.
He might have a teleporter. Like, you might get teleported. You might not even go anywhere. Get the books. Get the books. Like, I don't even want to show y'all the books because you should just go get them. So go get Gary's books. Go read Ronnie's book. Go on Instagram. Read mine. Go to Mini Comic Bundles. Buy all these damn comic books that I wrote because they are there. Aaron's drawn a bunch of comic books already. Yeah. We're on the home stretch. My writing part is, there's always polishing to be done. I'm always ready, but just go get these books. They're good. Buy Josh Temple's book, and not because it's on sale. Like, support this guy because he's told a fantastic story and drawn it as well. So, and he's going to be on the show next week too. So we'll talk about it more then. But I guess it's time to talk about the
American
adventures
Vampire.
of Skinner Sweet, man.
Right,
like,
Volume 2. And like the episode called Viva Las Vegas, because most of the story takes in Las Vegas, while pretty soon we're going to show you a short, preview or like a backstory that takes place in Colorado, and then the mainstream goes into Las Vegas. So let's bring this up. All right.
Look at it on my phone.
So yeah, right here, it, like I said, it just takes place in Colorado at first. I really like this panel here because it shows you everything that needs to be laid out, but it's not, great in detail. Like, you could tell he just wanted to draw some squiggly houses and some structures, but when you're probably far away on a mountain like he is, you're pretty much going to get that type of view. And with the snow, it's going to look blurry as well. But I just like that shot right there.
It's like it's like the map of a level of a video game. It's like, here's the area that, like, you're not going to see much of it, but like, here's the layout of this area. And I bet you if somebody knows what this place looked like, I wish I had time to like find a picture of what Silverton, Colorado looked like at this time, because it's probably very similar to this. So if not, if not just drawn for something like that. But
that's not one place I've been to. I mean, I've been to different places in Colorado, but I haven't been there.
Yeah. No, I would love to go to Colorado.
I've been in the Rocky Mountains. I've been in the Rocky Mountains. Really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just a scene there. And next, we just now see the guy traveling from the mountain to all these different bars. So it's just setting like you have probably like this small town who's like hidden in the mountains and stuff like that. There's still a lot of places like that. Like, I know my father-in-law, he used to talk about, you had the people in the main town, and then you had the people who live up in the mountains, and they had to travel all the way down from the mountains to pick up the main stuff. So some of these people used to take like a couple days just to get back because it would be such a long journey.
Right. Yeah. Having lived like up here, like close to Portland, it's very interesting what snow does against buildings. And I felt like Rafael Albuquerque nailed it with this. No way. Look at this. Like,
there you go.
Jay Hodges is like, he like comic books Indiana Jones. Like, he leads such a fascinating life. But no, as this goes, like, you get like this, probably that cold chill that goes through a room when it's that cold outside and the heat's on inside. And it would just get everybody's attention with that bell ringing when he walked through the door. Like, just a pure bar scene.
Kind of like, no, I was going to make a joke, like how Pee Wee Herman walked into the bar. It's like, Large Marge sent me.
Large Marge's been dead for 25 years. Worst accident I ever saw.
You could tell we're nerds. All right,
I love it.
So yeah, like he said, just you have like the typical like fishermen here, just one of those mom and pop diners, which if people haven't gone to, they need to go to a mom and pop diner. Some of the best food ever.
Yeah, it's always good.
So pretty much this waitress here, she's just gonna come up to the guy because it's her job, and he's just asking for a hotel. And I'm thinking that this is Sweeney. This is Sweet Tooth, just by the way it looks.
Yeah, it definitely is Skinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Skinner. Yeah. And it's like, sure, the El Dorado right up the street. Hey, mister, your pack. And I think the woman thinks that it's a baby. You got a baby in there? Lord, he must be freezing. Let me get him some warm milk. That's not necessary. And then he's hissing at her because he's telling her, do not open up the pack. And then
I don't know
she
what
just
was
screams.
in there.
So this makes me wonder, this trip with Colorado, does this take place before before Las Vegas, or is this like a little hint of what's going to happen after Las Vegas?
Right, yeah, because this is 36. So this might be him on his way out of Las Vegas.
Yeah, who knows?
Like, what if there is a baby in there? What if he has a vampire baby like James had in the last chapter?
Yeah. And like the title card here, American Vampire, Devil in the Sand. So pretty I kind of like that when they do title cards. And see, it says 6 months earlier in Las Vegas, so that indicates me that someone had a baby. Someone like probably a female vampire had a baby.
Yeah.
Was it our main star? Who knows?
Pearl. Who knows?
Who knows if it was Pearl? But yeah, pretty much here, not to go into detail, a man and a woman having sex.
Yeah.
And as me and Jason was saying, this episode is a lot more detailed.
Nudacious.
A lot of more nudity. And this guy's just like, yeah. You could and it's funny because when you look at that guy, it's like he's like a fat Ron Jeremy.
Oh man.
So yeah, just the scenes of the close-ups of the sexualness and the stuff. But it's like Rafael, he did some really great character design here. I mean,
yeah, the whole issue was well drawn.
Yeah. Like
tender moments.
And that's the thing. Like I like he did. It's like, okay, this is going to be a these couple panels are going to be have nudity, but let's focus on not just having nudity, but try to focus on different angle shots. Like you have like the full bedroom, then you have like a shot of her on top of him, and then you have a shot of her near his bosom and a shot closer. Just make it exciting, where it's nothing like just plain old just showing her breasts or showing him completely throughout the whole time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, it was a solid. It was a solid, R-rated scene from a cowboy movie that would be rated R. It was, it was nothing that you wouldn't expect to see from a R-rated rated R movie. Yeah,
and it pretty much, I think she's a prostitute because she's taking money from. But he's like, that's sweet, Howie. So next week, he's like, how about the same time for the rest of my life? So I guess it was that good.
He was definitely a man's man.
Yeah. So later on, after she's gone, the window's open, and I just like the shading and the color here. Like you have you see it's nothing but black here, but you have enough color in the sheets where it still shows the wrinkles and the formation of how the blankets bunched up and covered around his body.
And because you're off guard, you don't recognize that it's a full moon, which says that the American vampires are at their maximum strength.
Exactly.
So it was a brilliant setup for something that would be a detail that would be for the people that like the attention to detail. Because you don't need it, but it says a lot for not a lot of stuff on the page.
And then we get a close-up of him sleeping, but his eyes slowly waking up. And hi, Howie. What's that? So it's like this vampire knows who he is. So is it the woman that he just slept with? Who knows?
Right.
And then the thumbnail I took. Okay,
Yeah,
at this point, like we talked about before we interviewed with this, the vampires in Las Vegas are a lot more powerful and different than the ones in Hollywood.
They look like gargoyles.
Yeah, they look like they have like bat wings, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they have the feet like the American vampire, but other than that, they don't look like they 100. Like I looked at this page and looked at it, and then I remembered like we were somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because which vampire? I was trying to figure out which one of them had pointy ears, but it was, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole new setup. Like the American vampires are different. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just like to how, you know, Albuquerque, Rafael, and even with the writer, they don't want to show you what the monster looks like in the beginning. They just want to like have like black shadow outlines.
I want you to see that it's badass. Like no matter what it looks like, it's a killer.
Yeah. So it's like when we're ready to show you what the creature actually looks like in its full form with no shadow outline or shadow form, it's going to be a lot more terrifying because, you know, up until that point, they're just going to be playing with your imagination.
Yeah, we made it awesome. Yep. Yeah, really well done.
Yeah.
But the visual progression of this story was really good. Like you know, you didn't need a lot of dialogue. You didn't need a lot to follow the story pretty well. So
exactly,
hats off. It was awesome. And again, to have a artist tell a story as good as Scott Snyder and Stephen King have up to this point. I think this is all Scott Snyder from here, right? Or is it still alternate?
Yeah, it is just Scott.
Yeah, like the storytelling is now being told by the artist and a writer again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so it'll be pretty fun to see because the story is different than what we've read so far.
Yeah, I mean, you just write and you mostly write and Aaron does all the artwork. I mean, that's what's great is that if you could form a team where you don't have dialogue and you just have the action, but that artist is able to take that action from those words and make it into a living picture, it's great chemistry there.
Yep. You know, everybody writes different. You know, I write a lot of detail, and Aaron likes a lot of detail in our scripts. So it just kind of pushed me a little bit further because you have to write the detail so that he knows how to get it into a tiny page, and you have to be able to tell that it has to make sense visually. And I feel like that's a lot of what they did here is visually the story made sense without the dialogue. But that's not to say that the writing is not top notch because I thought it was really good in this book too. Yeah.
So now we're just in a cityscape where you could see like a hotel casino in the background of the name, and it's like you have some dialogues. When I was a boy, I used to have nightmares about monsters hiding in the shadows of my bedroom. So at this point, we're just getting an idea of, I think it's the police officer, the detective here.
Yeah.
So a new character. So I like to see if he's going to be like a good guy that's going to help out Pearl and them, or is he going to be like a threat, you know?
Right. Like, is he can be like a dirty cop that would be more along the lines of somebody who would be bought by Skinner Sweet because he's a hillbilly, but he's no dummy.
Exactly. And just, I love how like this part and the other part, it kind of has like that noir vibe to it, where you have this detective going down the street and just talking to himself. I used to wake up screaming and still see them everywhere in every dark corner. I wouldn't go back to sleep until my father lit the lamps and proved the corners and the closets were all clear. I'm a man now. I recently laid my father to rest, and then I can't sleep. I go walking, looking around. I'm struck by how bright the dawn nights before. It makes me wonder. So yeah, just even the dialogue there, I could imagine having like that noir, like I think 1920s like music in the back and having just him narrate it while he's walking down.
That taxi driver theme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, man.
Just reading the dialogue, I could picture that, you know.
It's very well written. You can tell that it was a point to show that the quality was not a fluke because it was with Stephen King. Now, granted, we all know that Scott Snyder can write, but this has been one of my favorite reads of his, to be honest, so far.
Of Scott's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's because it's not a genre that I would think that I would get into, but I'm excited about seeing what happens next through this whole thing.
Yeah. So pretty much nothing's happening too much. He's just, you know, walking down the streets until he gets to the point where he has to review the dead body. But he's stopping by, I think, the top of the morning, you know, just talking about different stuff. I guess he just goes around, talks to the different people of the village.
Right.
Or the town, I should say. So, yeah, just, you know, different dialogue. Just, you know, going from, like, this guy sleeping with a woman to plain murder. And then this detective just, you know, having simple talk with some of the people that he probably knows around town.
I love these areas if they're not too long. This might have been too long for me, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it regardless. Like, I remember like having to go back a couple times. This was the only place having to go back a couple times just to reread it to make sure I was keeping up with the conversation. And I love this story so much. I was ready to get back to what the vampires were doing. You know what I mean? Through a lot of this section.
Yeah, so even now he's just having like, you know, conversations with, I guess, the local drunks as well. So
yeah,
it's like, excuse me, you know, calling the freaking owner a Jew. So you know the detective is pissed. You could just see it in his face right there. He's like, you know, you're messing with a friend of mine. You're messing with his business. I got to teach you a lesson.
Yeah, you're a racist. Like, yo. Shame.
And how about you boys head back to the tent city and sleep it off? Because he realizes that these guys are drunk. But, you know, he's not going to have it if they're going to get more rough with him.
Right. Yeah.
And just going through these different, like, stuff, I could say Rafael, he captures, like, emotion really well in his work. You know, you could see the guy here, he's happy, he's laughing, but you could tell that's like a face that you would see someone if they were really intoxicated. You know what I mean?
He looks like Bibbo from the Superman comics.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Never mind. I was gonna say something that was off topic, but
then it's like, lucky you found me, and it's like, you know, he kind of has like that Indiana Jones look to him.
Yeah, for sure. It's just very interesting to see the different, like, how I can't wait to see how many generations this story goes through. But because again, this does not, like, it 100% does not feel like the old West anymore.
No,
and you forget where you are at times. You got to get used to it. But now this is more of a Untouchables type story now.
Yeah. So yeah, he just swung at the detective, and of course he moved out of the way. But yeah, just even this is like really great action pose here.
Yeah, for sure. Like you got the speed of the bigger guy's hands. You see how thick the speed lines are.
Yeah.
You see how quick, you know, how small, how even those speed lines are not touching him. So it's like you see how fast he is as well. I just a visual storytelling, man. Like if you're looking for a good example of it, they nailed it in this one.
Exactly, for sure. And then pow, man, I love the way that sound effect is drawn. Like that's just a really nice sound effect. Like it's yellow, but it has like the drip of blood, indicating that this guy probably got his teeth knocked out.
I like that he's got this clean spot, his stubble. Mm-hmm. Like you punched him so hard, he knocked his face clean right there.
Right.
You know, just a quick crack. Like you can see, like his jaw looks softer now. Maybe his jaw is broken. You got the tiniest bit of blood, but it's because it's just happening. You know, so this you can feel it. You can feel this one
for sure. And then him and backhand the other guy. You know, just really great fighting sequence here. That's all right. Let's get serious. So he's like, you know, he wasn't serious before, and now he pulls out the knife. And I gotta say too, I mean, me and Jason, we talked about this in the past with some of the other comic books, especially from the 50s. When you're having a close-up on hands, you got to make sure they look great. Because sometimes you can have a hand and it's like this. It was the space one where that guy was punching out the mirror and it even looked like a hand, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, just really great character designs.
Yeah, like I love both of these panels. I love the style of them. I love that the effort that it's taken for the thumb to flick that knife is kind of almost makes it look deformed, but it's not like.
And also too, I mean, like Jason and Gary and everyone who reads my comic or anyone in the future, I like doing panels like these where you have one giant panel and then you have a smaller panel inside of it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Because it gives like that, you know, I don't know how to describe it. I just like the design. Like it shows like the action within that same panel and you don't have to like draw a separate panel on top of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Just really good work. And now the gun, pointing the gun down. Always like seeing guns because it's like, you know, when it's too much of it, it's like not enough detail. And then some of it's like, okay, it's too much detail on it. But yeah, they got a really good job here.
Yeah, this one's good. Like this, that's a pretty extreme angle to hit.
Yeah, that is a hard angle to draw.
Up that gun barrel. And you can see, I mean, you can see the perspective that like I'm fortunate to work with somebody like Aaron on my first project that takes the perspective, like he does perspective so well. And it's not that a lot of people do it bad, because it's not, because you know, everybody does it because it makes sense. But it really stands out when somebody does it really well. Yeah. And like this panel, you can almost trace the line from the behind the top of his hat all the way down through that gun barrel as your top reference line. Just
for sure.
Yeah, just a very, very clean panel. Look at those knots.
Yeah, right.
He got work, but
and pretty much, you know, the guys are finding out that he's a cop, but you know, we knew from the beginning because it was pretty obvious.
Right.
But yeah, just I guess he's paying for the damages, but now he's going to arrest these guys. And now we're at the Las Vegas Police Department. And I just got to say, too, like, we haven't seen too much of it, but just like, you know, can't talk enough of our friend Gary, when you're doing, like, places that people have been to and then been there in person, like, I wonder how much research they did to make sure that they got this right for that time period. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, there are a few things that usually tell you like this, like the staircase is it's a pretty dramatic staircase, which would have made sense there. But you're right. Like, I wonder if this was a photo from a reference, because it hits all the marks. Like it really feels like Perry Mason or Law and Order, you know?
Yeah. For sure.
Yes, I am. I'm Perry Mason old. Like my parents watched it, but I remember it being old regularly.
That's funny. So yeah, just really like the scene here. You know, you don't have like this guy in the yellow. You know, he's not too much detail, but you see his shadow outline. Just like the work that they went with.
It looks like Dick Tracy going up the stairs there.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For sure. And yeah, just pretty much they're just having small talk, pretty much talking about these guys and everything, nothing too much. So pretty much within these panels, it's just not like going over where Pearl or Sweets is. They're just trying to introduce this new character who's going to be playing a big part, I guarantee, probably throughout the rest of the book.
Sure. Yeah, you could tell like they wanted to make sure that this was established, like this guy was a badass. Mm-hmm. Like he was the big detective. Like, yeah. But they did good though. They did good with it. He's kind of unlikable for me, but you know, I'm not a good guy fan anyway. Yeah.
And just like this panel too, he's just throwing them in the closet and throw them in there, just I guess to teach them a lesson or whatever. But it's pretty funny that they throw them in the janitor closet instead of a prison cell.
Yeah, they didn't quite rate a prison cell yet. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just talk. Don't kill the messenger, but I really do have something for you, Chief. Sorry, I got a very important piece of evidence to deliver. Chief, look at this place, Glenn. Makes me sick. So he's just, not wanting to be at the police station because I guess he's just realizing that this place isn't what it used to be. And that's pretty much what he's saying there. Like he's talking about the federal agents and, local police, especially in like movies and stuff like that, they hate the FBI. So now we're just meeting, I guess, like one of the federal agents here in the blue.
Yeah.
And just talking about, Chief, this is Jack Straw of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and this is his assistant, Felicia Book. So, yeah, like, it makes you wonder, while you're introducing these cops, if that makes you think, is there, like, vampires in the police department or even higher?
Yep. Don't know, but I don't want to get to the end of the story yet, but yeah, you start to get a few of clear answers on those questions in a very unique way. So yeah, I like how this story is breathing.
Yeah, so we're not going to go into too much detail about what all the dialogue is because we want people to go out and actually read these books.
Because, you won't appreciate us talking about this stuff. Yeah, there's a tension here. It's a really good read through.
Yeah, like what we're doing, we're giving you a review on this book and we're showing you stuff, but it still doesn't do enough justice. You just need to go out and read it. I mean, the link is in the description.
Yeah, go read this book, y'all. Stop playing around. Who do you think you are? No, that's always a good one.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
So yeah, just gonna skim through, with these panels. Just like I said, it's just a bunch of dialogue, which it's not bad, but I don't want to spoil everything. But pretty much these people are fighting because he thinks that this isn't until the U.S. government, you guys decided to build the largest engineering project in history of the country right here in our backyard. So,
what's going on here? What's the government doing here?
Yeah. And this local cop, the chief, he knows something's up because he's like, you don't have the FBI here just for no reason.
Right. Yeah. So they know something. Like, are they vampire hunters? Do they know like that there could be like a new breed of vampires on the loose? Like, how did all of this happen in what 9 years from when we were just a little bit further west? Like, what's going on here, Ronnie?
Exactly. So now, like, this guy's telling his chief that he's got a call of something, and what's the call? It's the dead body of the guy that we saw earlier get attacked by the vampire with the wings.
Right. Yep.
And man, just look at that detail. Like, I wish that it would be closer up, but you could see, even though he's still it's like a heavy set guy, you could see his body's wrinkled and everything,
it's
like
drained.
Showing like it was completely drained of its blood.
That gargoyle ate him, like from the inside, like a crawfish.
And like you were talking with the last panel with the guy holding the barrel of the gun, aiming down. This is a great panel too, because it's like, how do you really like get a shot on the top of their heads in a bird's eye view, but still show the full detail of that guy that's dead?
It feels, I don't think any of them were this high up, but it feels like the Jack the Ripper pictures that used to be in books when I was younger. That I used to look at the Jack the Ripper crime scenes. Like this is, but like that nobody is ultimately shot by the condition of the body, which says again, what's going on here? Like, how did people learn about these different vampires that exist all over the country now?
Yeah.
And how did it spread? How did it spread where our vampires haven't been
yet? Yeah, what makes
it was on purpose.
Yeah, and I like to find out exactly what makes the Las Vegas vampires, unlike the Hollywood ones, look different in a physical way.
Yeah, like what makes them look like gargoyles?
For sure. And just pretty much they're going into detail. That's 5 hours ago, Mr. Starr. What did she fold and press the towels before calling it in? No, she fainted. I sent her to the keeper's hall to rest. So just talking about, just trying to get all facts, because this guy's like, okay, this man is clearly murdered, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So I need to know everyone and what their alimo is.
Right. Yeah. Where were you? Yeah. What was your alibi? Like, where were you? Where were you? Like, let's clear everybody in this room now of this, or get to work on finding out how it happened.
Yeah, and then it's talking about Howard, how he's the president of the engineering. So literally that place that the FBI, I guess, is involved with, of the engineering that he was just talking about before in the police area. Ironically, that one of the head machos got killed.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, it's the vampires in charge of this dam that's being built, and they're trying to shut people up who might have evidence and might leak it. Who knows?
Who knows? Yep. Good chapter.
Yeah, good chapter. But I love how, like, in a way, Rafael still has like that vibe of like drawing each character in a different way, so you could tell their physical appearance. Kind of almost like that Dick Tracy vibe, where like this guy's head is almost a little bit wider.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this felt like Dick Tracy and like Sin City and all of those types of books.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. Like I said, I'm gonna have to like resettle into the story now because it's so different. But I don't think that that's a bad thing, because I know how good it was the last time. I'm excited about like restarting and learning new characters and knowing that like there's always going to be this thread of Pearl and Skinner Sweet through it. So how do they fit in? We lost the narrator that we had in the last time. We lost the vampire with the big lion mane, but this bald guy is striking visually like he was. So
yeah. And pretty much here, he's just this guy walking in. I guess he's a colleague of the guy who's dead, and he's talking about, I just seen him a week ago. How's this man, this dead? Because if he's drained of all of his blood, he's probably like decayed a lot faster than he should be.
Right. Yeah, no, this is It's like Law and Order. Like they're exploring the crime scene. Like they're trying to figure out how this guy got how he is. So I guess maybe they are a little bit more perplexed about it than it seemed. It just seemed like on the first read, like they were maybe they've at least seen it before. Maybe it's just familiar.
Yeah. Like he said, he's right. The body seems to have no fluids left in it. No blood at all. See the puncture wounds on the collar. So, and I like this too because it's not a lot of detail, but you could see like the face of the guy dead enough to where it makes you like horrified to look at it.
Yeah, you're looking at a dead body. Yeah.
So now, they're just carrying on more conversation. I take it to your keep, I guess, register of the visitors for Mr. Starr. So probably they're going to find out the woman that he was sleeping with. So, know.
Yeah. Yeah. What led to this night? Like what happened? Because is that a connection? Because it seems like it could be.
And they're just talking more about the dam and stuff like that. And now we're just getting a more closer up look at his face. So it's like, he was like an important man, a dam like like the one being built upriver is too big of a project for any one company. Agent saw. So he's like, this guy had to be working with people, and who knows, he was probably leaking information and they were shutting him up. That's probably much what it is.
Right.
And just now someone else's, I think it's the bellboy, the one who brings the luggage. So yeah, just more of like bringing in different people who has like pretty much been around this man and getting their story.
Yeah, so it's just following it. It's like I keep bringing up these different cop shows, but it's like the first 48 now. Like now they're like getting the investigation, trying to figure out who was where and when to find somebody to show up.
I was thinking Columbo.
Well, yeah, that too for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, so pretty much like the first chapter within this book is less of a horror, but more of like a detective vibe to it.
Yeah,
and I like that because when you really think about it, there are some noir stories out there where they're trying to track a serial killer that does give like horror vibes to it,
Yeah, like we was talking about earlier, like look at Jack the Ripper. Like that was a real thing.
Yeah.
But that was like a crazy villain, Zodiac killer. Like these stories are like, and these are real. Like that's what makes these so cool. So no, I thought that the first book worked because it was definitely a Western, but it was definitely a horror. But now it's like they're trying to establish like this is definitely seedy noir detective of the 30s world, Maltese Falcon. But at the same time, that there's vampires in this world. How does it all work together? Now the main crime is a vampire murder. So it's like, here it goes.
Yeah, and this kid, she's like, no, she was a vamp. And it's like a party girl. Well, that's manageable, thank God. What's pretty much, but I mean the kid, he just said she's a vampire, or it's like what the hell?
Right. Yeah, but he was trying to say like, is she a prostitute? Like where does she work? And he's like,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
No. She was from the frontier. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But this detective knew what this meant. Like, he's putting the pieces together now.
And pretty much after that, we just end at this shot with the whole night scene again. But at this point, you could see it's looking out to Casino Hotel. And just now the phone's ringing and just more dialogue. So I like how they transition from like all the different characters. So it makes you really grow interest into these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a lot of new characters, but we got enough info to like already start caring about them.
Yeah.
Or at least being aware of what their roles were.
Yeah. So pretty much here, we're getting a idea that this man is in love. Is he married? Who knows yet? But married, but it's pretty much his partner. So we get that maybe, she's going to have a story down the line, or maybe she's going to be a victim. Who knows? But usually when you have like a new character who seems like he's going to be the main character, usually sometimes that means the people in their lives, especially with this series, is going to die in a horrible way. Because we saw that we saw that with the last person that Sweet Tooth fought with.
Yeah, like he's not a good guy. Like we're learning that more. Like as endearing as he is, because he's one of the most likable characters, but he's not a good guy.
Yeah,
and I think that's his baby.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell she's pregnant, so it's like, oh, you know what? I did not put that together. Maybe the guy at the in Colorado, maybe that's the detective, and the baby's in his bag.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because it never really said who the person was.
No, you think it's Skinner because he's blonde, but now you got this character who looks very similar to Skinner Sweet. Like, which one was it? Did the hiss come from him, or did the hiss come from the bag? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
for sure. And yeah, they're just having dialogue, talking about, you're always going to be questioning about your father's murder. So, Cash, don't you see that? So she's pretty much telling him that, your father's dead and you're not going to fix that. So who knows? Maybe his father was killed by a vampire or by something, and seeing the person's dead body and the way he has the 2 marks in his neck shows evidence that, hey, my father's killer is still out there, because you see all of this going on.
Just such a big escalation in this towards the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
They always do this. And I mean, it's obvious, like it's just good storytelling, but those last few pages, man, it's like I'm like by then I'm ready for 5 more pages. But
yeah.
Then it's
and now we're at Block 16, Las Vegas, the red light district, which you see is pretty much like the main part of Vegas, where you have all the casinos, you have all the prostitutes on the side of the street trying to pick up guys, and you just have the detective going towards this building. So it's like, where's he going to? And the detective's like, take us to him, this big muscle-bound guy. So it's like the detective and all these and the FBI agents, they're going to see someone important. And this detective, he's standing up to this muscle-bound guy. He doesn't care who he is. And now you could just see that the anger in that guy's face. And wham, the female was quick too. Like, she literally took this guy down with no problem.
Yep. Put
just
the chokehold on him.
Right. But even with this, like, you could see the action that's going on within the scene.
Yeah, like just 2 like fast-paced fights in one chapter.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't as long as it seemed.
For sure. And then he's like, okay, you kicked my ass, now I'm going to take you to him. That's pretty much what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mr. Smoke is expecting you anyway. So it's like, if he's suspecting us anyway, then why did you fight us?
Yeah, what was the point of all that fight? Right.
Yeah. And in the midst of the room with all these naked women, who are they seeing? They're seeing
Smoke.
Mr. Sweet. Skinner Sweet, who, has a different name now. He's Mr. Smoke, but he's still eating candy because he loves candy.
Yeah. It looks like the same candy he's been eating for like
the same
70 years now.
Right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just, that's morning officer. So yeah, it's just a really big question about, like, why did they come here? So do they know that Sweet is a vampire and there's some other vampire out there that's more deadly that they have to get under control? Who knows?
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Is he just pumping out these different, like, has he figured out, because he would know the most.
Yeah.
So is he like figured out how to create these different species, like maybe like turning somebody at a different point of the day or a different phase of the moon? Who knows? Yeah. I'm excited to see where this story goes because they did it so differently with the vampire's power coming from the full moon, and now the vampire's looking so different. Like, it makes me, I don't know where it goes next. So yeah. It's cool. Like, it's cool to read it the way that we do. It's like time got away from me this week, so I didn't really I'll have to read it again to really sink my teeth into it. But usually I read it the week of, so that it's all the information is fresh. And doing it that way, it just kind of makes you thirsty for like the next episode, because there's so much progression that's happening while there's a good story happening. Because we don't know a lot about these vampires, but obviously Skinner Sweet is learning. He knows a lot about himself now because he's been the longest American vampire to this point.
Yeah, yeah.
But Hattie's not far behind him. And at this point, she's got to be close to his power because she was pretty strong before.
Yeah. So pretty much with this chapter, guys, it was less on the horror part and more on like character building and showing these new characters. But still, I like the whole like detective noir feel to it. And you pretty much got to feel that this guy has history of vampires from the past with his father. So yeah, just like to see where it goes and to see if that was really him and his son somehow got turned into a vampire when he was a baby. So yeah, I'd like to see. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be the end of the show.
Wait, what would you rate the book? Right?
Oh man, I would rate the story overall, the artwork and the character development. I would give it like probably a 7.5 or close to 8. You know what I mean?
Yep. I go solid 7. It wasn't my favorite the greatest chapter. But, it was a lot of exposition, but it was necessary because the world changed so much.
But yeah, I'll give it a
great read. 7 out of 10. I give it a 7. All right, now you can kick me out.
No, but guys, thank you again for Gary being in the chats. Anyone that watches this on the rerun, we appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, and we'll see y'all next week with Joshua Kimball.
Yeah,
bye.
Take care.